Yo, what is up guys, Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So Jesse Bam Rodriguez defeats Sunny Edwards by making him retire on his stool between the 9th and the 10th round. Have to say this was a better fight than I anticipated, but a fight in which was, in my opinion, pretty comfortable for Jesse Bam Rodriguez. Going into this fight, I couldn't really understand the amount of people giving Sunny Edwards a real shot in this fight. I didn't really feel he had the power, the physicality, and quite frankly the ability to number one, keep Bam honest, and number two, outbox Bam. I felt Sunny's skill set was a little overrated going into this fight, and I've noticed that's a trend when it comes to fighters who fight on the back foot. Just because a guy moves around and fights on the back foot, every single time these guys fight an aggressive guy, everybody assumes that the back foot guy is just more skilled for some reason. For me, I felt the opposite. I felt Bam was the far more versatile fighter, the fighter who had far more to his game. And this fight kind of proved that, in my opinion. I will say though, Sunny made this a better fight than I expected. He did have success, but ultimately, did he win that many rounds? In my opinion, no. In regards to the stoppage of this fight or how it ended, you know, I'm one of those individuals who I don't think all quitting is the same in boxing. We know when we see a guy quit when he had more in the tank. I think this is one of those occasions where Sunny got to the point to where he couldn't really do much more. He couldn't really give much more. There was no way he was going to win the fight. He was way behind. He was getting damaged. Took some big shots. Took some punishment. I've got no issue with Sunny calling it a day in this fight. I felt he gave all he could, really, to be honest. He acquitted himself well, but ultimately he's not quite at that level like I suspected. As for Bam Rodriguez, I felt this was a decent performance from him. More dynamic than his previous couple of fights. I felt in his previous couple of bouts, he's kind of gone through the motions a little bit, maybe made those fights a little more competitive than they should have been. I don't think he imposed himself on those fights like he did against Quadras and Rungvisai. Now, I know those two guys I mentioned were past their prime, I get it, but the confidence he's shown in those fights, the dynamism, the combinations, the creativity in offense, I never really saw that in the last couple of fights. Kind of looked like Bam was going through the motions, but he kind of got back to that form in this fight. Felt his balance was good, footwork was much better. He was both leading and countering in this fight, being aggressive, landing good combinations to body and head. At times he was drawing the lead of Sunny Edwards, countering. We mentioned that in the pre-fight video. Bam is a good counter-puncher when he sets his mind to it. And Sunny gave him those opportunities because Sunny, after the second round, really elected to sit in the pocket and trade with Bam. I wonder whether it was because Sunny's eye was going quite early on. Maybe that made him adjust his style. But Sunny was holding his feet a lot more than we're used to seeing. And that made it a better fight, by the way. And he was landing overhand lefts on Bam. He was catching Bam with some good shots, some good check right hooks as well. He was having his moments in there, but the power differential was real. The strength differential was real. But I will say, he got Bam's respect a couple of times. Never hurt him or anything like that, but he definitely got Bam's respect a couple of times. It was one of those fights, how do I explain it? It was like, it was a competitive one-sided fight, if that makes sense. So, to me, Bam was winning the rounds. Like, maybe you could give Sunny a round or two at max. Bam was winning the rounds, he was way ahead, but Sunny was throwing back, he was landing some nice flashy shots here and there, some decent shots bang on the chin. And he was fighting his best, he was doing what he could, but yeah, ultimately, Bam was the guy winning rounds. But Sunny made it a fun fight, a much more fun fight than I anticipated. I expected Sunny to be fully on the back foot in this bout, trying to nick rounds and, you know, trying to get go to the distance, seeing if he could nick a decision, that sort of thing. But yeah, as soon as when Sonny elected to trade with Bam, you could tell Bam's offense was far superior, both in terms of punch combination, punch technique, counter punching, accuracy, the force of the shots, etc., the power of the shots. You know, Bam was just the better man here, and he becomes a unified flyweight champion, picking up Sonny Edwards' IBF title, adding it to his WBO title. Unified champion at flyweight. We'll see what he does next. Is he going to stay at flyweight, or is he going to go to super flyweight? We shall see. There's fights out there for him in both weight classes. There is Delakian at flyweight. He's got the WBA title, I believe. That's a unification fight. Julio Cesar Martinez has the WBC. That fight would do good numbers, I'd imagine. Plus, it's a fun stylistic matchup. So there's Martinez also. Plus, I heard him talking about fighting Estrada at super flyweight. That may be the most marketable fight, you know. And Estrada now had a very good career, but he's coming towards the end. Maybe that fight's worth taking. Estrada's a champion at super fly. Estrada versus Rodriguez also makes sense. So yeah, Rodriguez has a lot of options in and around flyweight. We'll see what he does next. As for Sonny Edwards, I would stay at flyweight if I was him, have a couple of comeback fights. I'm sure Bam is going to move up sooner rather than later. Maybe he should try and get a Delakian fight. I think that fight is very winnable for Sonny Edwards. But he's definitely got a future still in those lighter weight classes. But I think we saw his level tonight. He can beat certain guys, but I can't see him beating the elite of the elite. But, yeah. Interesting fight, fun fight, but ultimately a fight in which Bam was always in control of. Share your thoughts below. What did you make of this fight? What did you make of both guys' performance? And where do both guys go from here? Share your thoughts below. Peace.